There are 6 early warning symptoms of dementia that you should never ignore. Alzheimer's disease is a neurological condition that worsens over time and affects more than 55 million people throughout the world. It is the primary cause of disability and dependency among people who are 45 years of age or older. There is a common misconception that dementia is a sign of aging. However, the disease actually begins to manifest decades before any obvious symptoms occur. Finding early warning indicators can help reduce the advancement of the disease and improve the brain's health over the long term. Let's take a look at 6 early warning symptoms of dementia that are frequently overlooked. The presence of neurological alterations may be indicated by changes in posture as well as modest adjustments in gait coordination and balance. Shorter steps, dragging feet, or difficulty using utensils are some of the early indicators with this condition. Problems with the senses, such as dementia, can have an impact on a person's ability to perceive depth, spatial awareness, and scent. In addition, there is a correlation between heightened sensitivity to noise or hearing loss and an increased likelihood of neurological impairment. The presence of a reduced grip strength in older persons is associated with an increased chance of acquiring dementia later in life. According to research that investigate muscle weakness, sleep difficulties, insomnia, excessive daytime sleepiness, frequent nightmares, or restless movements while sleeping are all potential early symptoms of a developing sleep disorder. Apathy and social isolation, as well as a loss of interest in hobbies and activities, are indicators of the emotional changes that are connected with dementia and can be found in social gatherings or family get-togethers. Having trouble finding words, experiencing aphasia, having difficulty recalling familiar terms, or misnaming items are frequently among the first indicators that can be identified as being associated with Alzheimer's disease. The early recognition of these indications enables the implementation of preventative interventions, which include activities that stimulate the brain, physical activity, a good diet, and quality sleep, all of which can help slow the decrease of cognitive abilities. When we get started, I would really appreciate it if you could tell me where you are coming from today. Leave a remark below. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. In addition, make sure that you click the subscribe button and enable notifications so that you are never not aware of the most helpful health advice that Wise Senior Health has to offer. If you are watching at this very now, I want to know that you are agreeing with me. Leave a comment with a 1 if you feel that this video resonates with you. In the event that not, type 0. In order to effectively manage symptoms and enhance one's quality of life, early detection is essential. Why 1. Alterations in posture occurs as a result of the fact that movement conveys a narrative. Alterations in posture and gait are sometimes disregarded as typical indicators of aging. However, they have the potential to serve as early warning signs of dementia. A significant contribution to both balance and coordination is made by the brain as cognitive functions deteriorate. There is also the possibility that motor control will be impaired. It's possible that people will begin walking with shorter steps or by dragging their feet, rather than elevating them in the correct manner. The inability to maintain balance might result in frequent falls or difficulty navigating familiar environments. It's possible that coordination issues will become apparent, creating difficulties in performing routine activities, such as holding a cup or using utensils. The development of a slumped posture or a tendency to lean to one side may be an indication of a loss of motor control. Even while these slight changes might not appear to be worrying at first, they might become more noticeable over time, which can have an effect on mobility and increase the risk of falling. Second, sensory problems are present. The way in which the brain interprets the world memory is not the only thing that dementia affects. Additionally, it has the potential to disrupt sensory perception. When we take in information from our senses, the brain processes it. As neurons degenerate, individuals may experience difficulties with depth perception, misjudging distances, having difficulty pouring liquids, or having difficulty navigating stairs. Additional symptoms may include difficulty climbing stairs. Third, Challenges with spatial awareness come up. Having the sensation of being lost in crowded places or coming into frequent contact with furniture. Both the sense of smell and taste are lost. It has been established that certain types of dementia, most notably Alzheimer's disease, are associated with an early decline in the cognitive ability to perceive odors. Noise sensitivity and hearing loss are both symptoms. It is possible for a person to have difficulty distinguishing voices in a noisy environment, or to develop hypersensitivity to exceptionally loud sounds. There is a substantial correlation between hearing loss in middle age and an increased risk of memory loss and dementia. Hearing impairment that is not treated causes the brain to work harder to comprehend sound, which can lead to cognitive strain and possible memory loss over time, according to research. 3. It is a message from the body that you are experiencing muscle weakness. The relationship between the strength of one's muscles and the health of one's brain is frequently undervalued. Nevertheless, research indicates that a significant correlation exists between a diminished grip strength in older persons and an elevated chance of acquiring dementia. A decline in the ability to open jars, carry groceries, or grip objects firmly could be an indication of early neural alterations. There is a correlation between increasing the risk of dementia and general frailty, as well as a decrease in muscle mass. If you are weak in your arms or legs, you may find that you engage in less physical exercise, which in turn expedites the decrease of your cognitive abilities. Because it has been demonstrated that physical activity and strength training can protect brain function, maintaining muscle health may be able to assist in slowing down the onset of demented decline. 4. Nighttime sleep disorders are a significant early warning sign. Problem sleeping are not only a symptom of dementia, but also a possible cause of the condition. Even while many people in their later years suffer shifts in their sleeping patterns, certain disturbances may indicate that there is an underlying cognitive deterioration. If a person has been sleeping excessively during the day, or if they have never napped before, they may begin to experience overwhelming exhaustion and hence require frequent naps. Symptoms such as insomnia and fragmented sleep, difficulties going asleep, many awakenings during the night, or waking up too early without feeling rested are all examples of sleep disorders. REM sleep behavior disorder, which has been associated to dementia with Lewy bodies, can be characterized by involuntary motions during sleep such as kicking, punching, or talking. Restless sleep and movement problems are other possible symptoms of this condition. Nightmares that are very vivid, dreams that are experienced frequently and intensely, or night terrors are all potential early warning signs of neurological abnormalities. Sleep deprivation is a contributor to inflammation in the brain and hastens the deterioration of cognitive abilities. Thus, addressing sleep problems at an early stage can help protect the brain's health over the long run. 5. Loss of interest in life as well as apathy and retreat from socializing. In spite of the fact that it is sometimes confused with depression or with the natural process of aging, apathy is one of the earliest emotional indicators of dementia. It is possible for people who are suffering cognitive decline to lose interest in activities such as hobbies, employment, or social life that they once enjoyed. Steer clear of social events or reduce your level of participation in conversations, and exhibit a less emotional response to experiences that are either happy or sad. A lack of drive to begin work or daily routines is demonstrated by the individual. The brain's ability to regulate emotions and social conduct is impaired by dementia, which is the reason of this emotional detachment that manifests itself. On the other hand, apathy and dementia is frequently persistent and unconnected to external events, despite the fact that sadness and apathy can appear to be very similar. 6. The inability to find the right words, aphasia, and a strong desire to communicate. The trouble with speaking is one of the early indications of dementia that is the most well known from the beginning. The disorder that is known as aphasia can present itself in a number of different ways. Having difficulty remembering simple phrases or making mistakes in word choice, such as saying shirt instead of jacket. Having trouble finding the appropriate words to say. which causes numerous pauses occurring during conversations, unknowingly repeating the same words or phrases over and over again, and losing track of familiar names, even those of members of one's immediate family. Aphasia is a condition that frequently manifests itself years before a diagnosis of dementia is made. It can also grow over time, making communication increasingly challenging. How should you proceed if you observe these symptoms? If you or someone you care about is exhibiting many early indicators of dementia, it is imperative that you seek medical help as soon as possible to rule out other problems that may cause similar symptoms, such as vitamin deficiencies, thyroid issues, or stress. Early intervention might be helpful in determining whether or not they are present. Make available treatments that have the potential to delay the deterioration of cognitive abilities, and provide individuals and families with the opportunity to plan for the future and make any required adjustments to their way of life. Measures to safeguard the health of the brain. Although there is currently no known cure for dementia, research has shown that some lifestyle choices can dramatically lower the risk of developing the condition. Building cognitive reserve can be accomplished by engaging in activities that require cognitive processing, such as acquiring new skills, solving puzzles, or speaking several languages. Maintain a regular exercise routine. Increased blood flow to the brain and enhanced neuroplasticity are both benefits of engaging in physical activity. Have a diet that is good for your brain. Lean proteins, healthy fats, and antioxidants are the focal points of the Mediterranean and Mind diets, respectively. Control conditions that are persistent. The chance of developing dementia is reduced when diabetes, hypertension, and cholesterol levels are under control. Make getting quality sleep a priority. Clearing poisons from the brain, which are a contributing factor in neurodegeneration, is facilitated by deep sleep. Recognizing the early warning signs of dementia can make a big difference in the way the disease is managed. Despite the fact that dementia is a complicated condition, individuals and families are able to take preventative measures toward diagnosis, treatment, and improvements in lifestyle if they are able to recognize small changes in mobility, sensory perception, sleep, emotions, and language. An early detection is essential. Pay close attention to these symptoms, and if you have any concerns, consult a medical professional. The protection of brain health for many years to come could be facilitated by taking action today. It is imperative that you never disregard these 10 classic indicators of dementia. Memory, cognitive ability, and day-to-day functioning are all negatively impacted by dementia, which is a neurological condition that worsens over time. In the beginning, the symptoms may not be very noticeable. However, as the disease advances, more noticeable symptoms appear. These symptoms might interfere with a person's ability to communicate, navigate familiar environments, and maintain their independence. When individuals and families are able to recognize these traditional indicators, they are better able to seek early medical assistance, which in turn allows for better management of symptoms and an improvement in quality of life. 1. The loss of memory, which includes forgetting more than merely date and name. It is common knowledge that memory loss is one of the most prominent signs of dementia. On the other hand, forgetting someone's name or the location where they put their keys is not the only thing of concern. A gradual loss of both short-term and long-term memory that has an impact on day-to-day life is what dementia is. There is a possibility that the individual will have difficulty recalling recent discussions, appointments, or occurrences. They may tell the same stories over and over again, without being aware that they have already told them. Unfortunately, they are unable to retrace their steps in order to locate the vital goods that they have misplaced, such as their wallets, glasses, or medications. There is a possibility that long-term memories will remain intact initially. Nevertheless, as time passes, even key life events, personal history, and the names of loved ones may become less distinctive. Individuals may not even recognize their closest family members by the time they reach the later stages of dementia. Memory loss occurs in phases, and these stages progress in stages. 2. It is difficult to follow talks, and it is easy to lose the topic. It is common for people with dementia to have difficulty carrying on conversations as the disease develops as a result of the brain's decreased capacity to comprehend, recall, and react to information. Communication becomes increasingly challenging in the middle of a statement. They could lose their train of thought, which can cause interactions to become disjointed or unclear. The inability to locate the appropriate words might result in the substitution of terminology that are either inaccurate or ambiguous, such as using the phrase thing instead of the name of an object. There is a possibility that they will repeat themselves numerous times within the same converse. These individuals have a particularly difficult time concentrating and comprehending speech when they are surrounded by background noise, such as when they are in a crowded room or a bustling cafe. They are unaware that they are doing this. It is possible for individuals to retreat from social contacts as a result of these issues, since they may become upset or ashamed from their inability to communicate effectively. Third, mood and personality shifts, resulting in a new version of themselves, is experienced. Alzheimer's disease has an impact on the brain's ability to regulate emotions, which can result in obvious shifts in personality and mood. It is possible for a person who was formerly positive to become irritated, skeptical, or withdrawn. It's possible that they would lose interest in activities that they used to take pleasure in, such as hobbies and getting together with friends. There is a possibility of experiencing increased anxiety, depression, or agitation, particularly when one is in unfamiliar situations. Some people acquire paranoia, which is the belief that other people are scheming against them or taking from them for their own benefit. These changes are frequently noticed by members of the family before the individual themselves does. These adjustments become more drastic with time, which has an impact on relationships, as well as encounters that occur on a daily basis. 4. Bad decision making and problem-solving skills, as well as making choices that are risky. People who have dementia frequently experience a deterioration in their ability to think and make judgments, which can result in decisions that are either unsafe or illogical. They may be susceptible to falling for cons, making purchases on impulse, or having difficulty managing their funds. Performing seemingly straightforward activities, such as following a recipe, paying bills, or organizing errands, can become burdensome and complicated. It is possible that they will dress in an improper manner, such as wearing a weighty coat during the summer or pajamas to the store. As the disease progresses, individuals lose the ability to evaluate risks, which increases the likelihood that they may place themselves in potentially hazardous circumstances. For example, they may leave the stove on or venture outside in conditions that are harmful. 5. Time and location disorientation, as well as an easy tendency to go lost. Alzheimer's disease patients frequently have trouble keeping track of time and may experience disorientation, even in environments that are familiar to them. They are unable to discriminate between the past and the present, and they lose count of the days, months, and even years that have passed. When they are in later phases, it is typical for them to become disoriented in areas that they have been familiar with for years, such as their own neighborhood or the grocery store. They may also forget the reason why they entered a room or feel puzzled in an environment that is familiar to them. They may have the misconception that they are living in a different decade, since they may refer to events that occurred several decades ago as if they were taking place right now. This disorientation can cause one to roam, which raises the possibility of becoming disoriented or encountering potentially hazardous circumstances. 6. Asking the same question over and over again, also known as repetitive questioning. And someone who is suffering from dementia could ask the same question more than once. It is possible that they will continue to inquire about the date, their itinerary, or the arrival time of a member of their family, even after they have received an answer. This occurs as a result of their brain's inability to retain new knowledge, which causes them to forget that they had just asked the same question a few moments ago. It is possible that the individual will not recognize their own behavior, which might make the repetition of this activity stressful for the caretakers and family members. Providing the individual with visual reminders, such as calendars and written notes, can be an effective way to alleviate frustration for both the individual and the others who care about them. 7. Instances of misplacing goods in strange places, such as discovering the phone inside the refrigerator. Forgetting things is something that happens to everyone occasionally, but dementia-related forgetfulness is a different story. Rather than putting things in the places that make the most sense, people could put things like a phone in the refrigerator, keys in the sugar jar, or shoes in the oven of their home. They are unable to retrace their steps in order to locate goods that they have misplaced, which results in greater irritation and suspicion. After they are unable to locate their items, they may blame others of taking them, after they have reached a more advanced level. These peculiar placements are the result of memory circuits that have been disturbed, which makes it difficult to manage even the most basic of activities. 8. Hallucinations, which are the perception of objects that are not actually present. Later stages of dementia, notably Lewy body dementia and severe Alzheimer's disease, are characterized by the presence of hallucinations, which are a troubling yet ubiquitous symptom. It is possible for people to experience phantom voices, see people who are not present, or feel a presence that cannot be reasoned away. Some people have the misconception that they smell aromas that do not exist, such as smoke or food that is not there. In certain cases, these hallucinations can be quite scary, which might result in aggressive behavior or paranoia. In order to rule out other potential causes, such as the adverse effects of medicine or infections, a medical evaluation is absolutely necessary. 9. An indication of severe dementia is the loss of control over one's urine and bowel movements. It is possible for a person to experience urine and fecal incontinence as dementia progresses, because the brain loses its ability to control physiological functions. It is possible for people to either fail to detect the urge to use the restroom or to forget where the restroom is located. It is possible for this symptom to create shame and anxiety, which can then lead to social retreat and problems with cleanliness. When it comes to managing incontinence, caregivers frequently involve the implementation of routines and reminders. Incontinence is frequently a turning point for those who are providing full-time care or who are living in assisted living, as it becomes increasingly difficult to perform daily hygiene and personal care. An early detection is essential. The ability to identify these 10 characteristic symptoms of dementia is essential for the early diagnosis and treatment of the condition. Despite the fact that there is no cure, early detection of these warning signs enables medical examination and treatment to slow the advancement of the disease. Changes in lifestyle, such as engaging in activities that stimulate the brain and exercising, as well as family planning and caregiving arrangements to provide safety and support when necessary. Notify a medical professional as soon as possible if you observe any of these symptoms in yourself or in a member of your family. Taking preventative measures can assist in the preservation of cognitive function and the enhancement of quality of life for the longest period of time possible. Ways to avoid developing dementia. In order to maintain healthy brain function, research has shown that lifestyle choices play a significant influence in avoiding or postponing cognitive decline, despite the fact that there is currently no cure for dementia. It is possible for individuals to lower their risk and safeguard their brain function well into old age by integrating healthy behaviors into their lives. Here is a list of some of the most effective techniques to maintain the intellectual capacity of your brain and reduce the likelihood of getting dementia. Create a cognitive reserve. Continue to educate yourself and push your brain to its limits. One can compare the brain to a muscle. When you utilize it more frequently, it will grow more powerful. Developing cognitive reserve involves developing connections in the brain through learning that continues throughout one's life and mental stimulation. The risk of developing dementia is lower for those who participate in activities that require a high level of cognitive complexity throughout their entire lives. According to studies, participate in activities that teach you new skills, such as playing a musical instrument, figuring out puzzles, learning a new language, or playing games that require strategy. To improve your ability to solve problems, you should try reading books, enrolling in educational classes, or participating in activities that do so. The stimulation of brain function and the development of resistance against cognitive decline can be achieved through social activities such as debating, telling stories, or playing chess. The development of a robust cognitive reserve enables the brain to compensate for the loss of neurons and delay the onset of dementia symptoms, even upon the occurrence of age-related alterations. Consistent physical activity improves circulation and stimulates brain growth. In the fight against dementia, one of the most effective methods is to engage in physical activity through the enhancement of circulation, the oxygenation of the brain, and the stimulation of neural growth. Regular exercise contributes to the preservation of memory and cognitive function. The blood flow to the brain is increased and inflammation is reduced when aerobic workouts such as walking, swimming, and cycling are performed. Strengthening muscles and increasing neuroplasticity through activities such as resistance training, weightlifting, and body weight workouts enables the brain to adapt and expand through the development of new neural pathways, reducing the incidence of dementia and improving overall mental health can be accomplished with as little as 30 minutes of moderate exercise 5 days a week, because anything that is beneficial to the heart is equally beneficial to the brain. Preventing cognitive deterioration and brain shrinkage can be accomplished through the maintenance of cardiovascular health through physical activity. It is important to consume meals that are beneficial to the brain. In terms of both brain health and longevity, nutrition is an extremely important factor. There are several diets that have been demonstrated to improve cognitive function and lower the chance of developing dementia. The Mediterranean diet, which is abundant in lean meats, healthy fats, whole grains, and fresh vegetables from the Mediterranean region. The MIND diet, which is a variant of the Mediterranean diet, is an eating plan that helps reduce inflammation and encourages the formation of neurons. It places an emphasis on foods that are beneficial to the brain, such as olive oil, almonds, leafy greens, and berries, which are known to help protect against Alzheimer's disease. A diet that is low in carbohydrates and rich in fat, known as the ketogenic diet, has been shown in certain studies to improve cognitive performance by supplying the brain with ketones, which are an alternative source of energy. Both inflammation and oxidative damage are factors that lead to neurodegeneration. Therefore, avoiding processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and trans fats can help reduce inflammation and minimize oxidative damage. Manage your health in a proactive manner and take control of chronic illnesses. Diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and sleep apnea are just some of the chronic illnesses that have been shown to have a strong correlation with an increased chances of developing dementia. Cognitive decline can be significantly slowed down by the management of certain diseases. High blood sugar and diabetes both cause damage to the blood vessels in the brain, which in turn raises the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Essential hypertension management is controlling insulin levels through dietary changes, physical activity, and medication. The reduction in blood flow to the brain that results from high blood pressure is what causes vascular dementia. Keeping one's blood pressure under control is beneficial to one's cognitive performance. Obesity and excess weight, particularly visceral fat, are known to cause inflammation, which in turn raises the risk of dementia. Weight management and brain protection are both benefits of leading a healthy lifestyle. Inadequate breathing during sleep, also known as sleep apnea, causes the brain to be deprived of oxygen, which can result in memory issues and brain shrinkage. Cognitive performance can be improved by the treatment of sleep apnea. Enhance the quality of your sleep and allow your brain to clean itself. When it comes to removing dangerous chemicals from the brain, deep sleep is an extremely important factor. Beta-amyloid and tau proteins, which have been related to Alzheimer's disease, are eliminated from the brain via the glymphatic system. While the individual is falling asleep, each night you should strive to get between 7 and 9 hours of unbroken sleep. Maintain a regular sleep schedule and stay away from electronic devices in the hours leading up to bedtime. If you suffer from chronic insomnia or restless sleep, you should cut back on your consumption of caffeine and alcohol, because these substances create disruptions in the deep sleep cycles. Talk to your physician about identifying any underlying problems, such as sleep apnea. A healthy sleep routine enables the brain to repair itself, which in turn lowers the chance of developing dementia and improves memory. Suppress your drinking and give up smoking. Put an end to neurodegeneration. Tobacco use and excessive alcohol intake both hasten the aging process of the brain and the progression of neurodegeneration. An increased likelihood of acquiring Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia is associated with frequent drinking and smoking. According to a number of studies, the oxygen flow to the brain is decreased when a person smokes, which results in damage to neurons and an increase in cognitive decline. Quitting smoking is associated with a considerable reduction in the chance of developing dementia. The intake of excessive amounts of alcohol causes damage to brain cells, which in turn affects one's memory, reasoning, and ability to solve problems. A healthy brain can be protected by limiting alcohol consumption. The elimination of smoking and the drinking of alcohol in moderation are both beneficial to the preservation of cognitive function and the reduction of long-term brain damage. Small adjustments can have a significant impact. The onset of dementia is not a natural consequence of aging. By cultivating behaviors that are beneficial to the brain, individuals can greatly reduce their risk and keep their cognitive function intact far into their senior years. Important things to retain: continue your education, take part in activities that will test your mental capabilities, and maintain an active lifestyle. Both circulation and brain function can be improved by exercise. Have a healthy diet. Protecting against neurodegeneration is the goal of a well-balanced diet. Health issues should be managed. Maintain control of your weight, blood pressure, and diabetes. Get a good night's sleep. In order to detoxify the brain, deep sleep is absolutely necessary. Avoid smoking and drinking too much alcohol. Neuropathic deterioration and cognitive decline should be reduced despite the fact that there is no treatment for dementia. Taking these preventative measures can slow the advancement of the disease and enhance brain health in general. The sooner you get started, the more rewards you will receive. To ensure a healthier future, make an investment in your brain today. The most recent treatments for dementia have developed. Having faith in the future. In recent years, there has been a considerable advancement in dementia research, which has provided individuals who are at danger of cognitive decline with a glimmer of hope. New medications such as lecanemab and donanemab, which have showed the potential to eliminate harmful beta-amyloid plaques, which are one of the primary contributors to Alzheimer's disease, are among the most promising developments. In the field of Alzheimer's disease research, what is the mechanism of action of these new medications? The monoclonal antibodies known as lecanemab and donanemab are part of a novel class of antibodies that are designed to specifically target and eliminate amyloid plaques from the brain. According to studies, these medications have the ability to halt cognitive loss in those who are in the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. This could be a significant step forward in the treatment of dementia. These medications are a significant step forward in the management of the condition and in enhancing the quality of life for both patients and caregivers, despite the fact that they do not cure the disease. This is the future of dementia treatment. In the next years, researchers are hopeful that additional developments in dementia research may lead to the development of medicines that are more therapeutically successful. Combination treatments which concentrate on treating various components of neurodegeneration are now being investigated in ongoing research. The use of gene therapy to address the genetic variables that contribute to dementia memory and cognitive function can be improved with the use of brain stimulation treatments. It is essential to begin intervention at an early stage. Despite the fact that new therapies are being developed, the most effective method is still early detection and making proactive changes to one's lifestyle. Early symptom recognition and the adoption of routines, such as brain workouts, are both important. Dementia risk can be reduced and long Term brain health can be supported by maintaining a balanced diet, practicing regular physical exercise, and getting enough quality sleep. The expectation that future medicines may deliver even more effective methods to combat dementia is still very much alive and well, despite the fact that research are still evolving.